Guys and gals, let's do this. YotaMD key fob install. This is for the RS3000 key fob, or remote system, keyless entry system, that was popular on a lot of Toyotas in the early and mid and I guess late 90s. So this is an old fob, obviously what you may have if you have the system, and it's in rough shape, which is probably about how yours looks. So if you open that up, mine I didn't even have to take out the screw because the plastic casing had already fallen apart. So take out the keychain. What we've got is the battery holder, and then the remote button portion. And if we take this out, we can see one more component, and the board may fall out of the rubber. That's fine, it just snaps back in. It'll find home on its own pretty good. One more piece is that little clear piece right there. It's a light guide for the LED, so you want to reuse that. Okay, so we've got this, we've got the button part. Now we need to get the coin cell battery out and this metal battery holder out. I've got some tweezers here that I'm going to use to help. The coin cell should pull out pretty easily. I just grabbed that with my hand. Now this is a little more tricky, and hopefully you can see this clearly in the video. There are two posts right there that this battery holder rests on or over. You'll commonly break those getting this off, so we'll see what I can do here. I'm using a pair of tweezers. You could use a key or your fingers, whatever, it doesn't really matter. We're not too concerned about preserving this because, hey, this is the broken part. We're just trying to get it out. So, if we kind of wiggle this out there, we got it out on that side. And now we need to lift it. There's a tab that goes right into a groove right there. So that side's a little bit tricky to get off. But we'll try and get this off here. There we go. Nope, nope, not quite. Hang on. We're doing this all in one take, so bear with me. There you go. Popped out. Okay, so now we have our battery holder, which is this guy, our battery, and a little LED light guide, and of course the buttons. So now we go over here, and this is the fob you'll get from me, or the fob shell, remote case, whatever you want to call it. So you get the plastic shell, and you get some hardware. There are leftover pieces in here. There are extra pieces on purpose because these are tiny and they're really easy to lose. So first thing, let's take the little LED light guide and place that with the rounded edge up into this little pocket for it, and it should rest in there just fine, just like that. Now grab the buttons and just place this down and through. It should go through pretty easily. You may have to just massage it a little bit to get the buttons to fall through correctly. And you can hold it in place and just press the buttons and make sure that you can hear that click. And that should be okay. So that's the front side. We're halfway there. Now you take the battery holder, and there's a little nest for this guy in here. Start with the side that has the posts. That should make it a little easier. There are some posts in the 3D print, so just make sure you follow those. Oh, and actually, okay, so when we took this guy out, we bent it, so I'm just going to bend it right back up. There we go. So it should look like that. But if you bend it, then just bend it back, obviously. So that side just popped right in. That's perfect. And now this side should go in just by pressing down, and then you want to get that little leg to fall under there. Now you get the battery in, and there's a little picture of the battery so you know that the rounded side goes up. And you can just press it in there and then slide it in. That should lock in real tight. Okay, so we should have everything together now. Now we can put the two pieces together, and I apologize, this is black and my mat here is black, so it's kind of hard to see. But there's a little finger there on each side. Those fingers dig into this bottom half of the shell. So what you need to do is just slide it up. So you start a little bit offset like that, and then just slide up. And it'll hold a little bit on its own, but obviously not very well. That's no good. We want to fix that. So make sure your LED lights and the buttons don't stick. This is looking good. So now what we need to do is we grab our hardware, and I'm going to empty this all out. So we've got our wrench, we've got some screws, some key rings. I'm going to set the key rings aside, we don't need those right now. And then we've got 3 nuts. And the screws, you'll notice there's 6 screws. You only need 2 of them. But you get to decide what type you want. There are Phillips, if you want to use regular eyeglass screwdrivers, that's fine. And then there are stainless steel silver, and then an alloy black hex flathead screw, which you can use this wrench for. So it's up to you, whatever look you want. I'm going to do the silver just so you can see it a little better. The black blends in real good. So we put in a screw there and grab a nut, and on the back side it's a bit of a press fit. So let's see, I'll try and get this pressed in first. So you want to take a look and just make sure that it lines up with the hole there, and then just with your fingernail just press it in real lightly. It doesn't take a whole lot of force. And then just keep that in there. Let's put our screw in. Start threading that on, and you'll feel it catch, and it'll get tight. You don't need to over tighten this. I mean, it's a key fob, so don't go nuts. Pun not intended, haha. Okay, anyway, so grab your other hex nut here, press it in there, and again, just a real light press fit. Grab our other screw, come along here, make sure it goes through. Okay, and once again, it'll catch right away. And then just make sure that the bottom's lined up. You can kind of play with the 2 pieces, get them so they're just right. And then tighten it down. And you're done. Well, you're almost done. Then you got to put the keyring on. I'm not going to show you that. You can do that just like you do any keyring. And now you're done. Now you got a functional fob remote shell that's not going to break apart. And it's roughly the same size as the OEM one. It's a little bit larger in width, but just at the bottom and the top. So there you go. YotaMD key fob shell for the RS3000 keyless entry systems for many Toyota vehicles. Pick one up on YotaMD.com. Check out reviews and comments and that sort of thing on I Hate Mud. Those guys are good with that. Otherwise, give me direct feedback through my site and enjoy.